good guys, it's AJ. Whoa, I mean, yo, what's good guys, it's NBAussie, and my boy AJ hit me up and asked me to narrate a battle on his channel, so here we are. And as you can see, I did cook up a little team previously. Let's go ahead and take a look at the teams. My boy AJ's team is at the top. He has a 4-tax Tyranitar, which is heavily invested in special defense, especially defensive Jellicent, what's looking to be a choice banded Scissor, maybe an SD3 attacks variant. That is a bulk up Breloom, a choice Scarf Latios, and an air balloon Tram with rocks. His opponent also has a Tyranitar of his own, which is most likely choice banded or a stealth rock variant. That Landorus is definitely looking like a sheer force variant. That's either a Specs, Scarf, or Expert Belt Keldeo. And that Xatu is definitely looking like a standard defensive set, which is just going to keep rocks and spikes off the field. That Jirachi is actually really looking Scarfed, which makes me believe that the Keldeo is either Specs or E-Belt. And last up we just have, which is what is most likely a special defensive Celebi, just to help deal with Keldeo and Landorus. So let's just go ahead and get right into the battle. So as you can see, AJ is going to lead off with his Latios. His opponent's going to lead Keldeo. Immediately AJ goes right into his Breloom, predicting his opponent to go into Tyranitar, but unfortunately he does indeed just go into a Celebi, maybe predicting that. And now AJ is going to go into Tyranitar just to try and get off a crunch or a pursuit on this Celebi, but his opponent sees through that and just goes straight for the U-turn, so that's a good play on his part, and just goes right into his Keldeo. And now AJ is pretty much forced out into his Latios or his Jellicent. I was pretty sure his opponent was going to double just into Tyranitar, but instead he just stays in and goes for the Secret Sword, maybe thinking that AJ would overpredict, as now his opponent's going to stay in again and go for the Secret Sword, predicting AJ to go into Tyranitar or Scizor, predicting the Celebi switching. Unfortunately it doesn't work out for him, even though it was a good play on his part. Again he makes the same play again, predicting Tyranitar or Scizor, just because that Celebi switching on his opponent's part is extremely obvious. But AJ's playing no games around this and just keeps firing off skulls. Unfortunately he's getting no burns, as now the Celebi does actually come in again. He doesn't get a burn, so that's again unfortunate, just because he will be able to start whittling this thing down, especially if it just wants to U-turn around all over the place. And yeah, his opponent is actually going to just go straight for the U-turn, as AJ brings in his Scizor just to try and again get some U-turn momentum off or a pursuit, as his opponent now brings in Xatu. And I'm expecting him to have Heat Wave, as he does, just because why else would you bring Xatu in on a Scizor. So AJ just goes into Tyranitar to take that nicely, and now his opponent goes for the Roost. AJ pursues, suspecting he might want to switch out, but he does in fact reveal Rocky Helmet, so now he's probably thinking that he's just going to stay in and try to Rocky Helmet stall. As AJ knows he's not switching out and just goes for the crunch, he does in fact get the special defense drop, and that does a shitload of damage. As now AJ probably should have gone for the pursuit here, as his opponent U-turns out and misses a Stone Edge on the incoming Tyranitar. Again, that miss really didn't matter at all. So now AJ's just going to go for the superpower. He's not running any speed, so I'm not sure if that was a speed tie or whatever. But yeah, either way that Tyranitar is going down. And now that Jirachi's coming in, AJ's going to make a good play and just go right into his Jellicent, expecting this Jirachi to be either physical or a Choice Scarf variant. So yeah, now Celebi is in on the Jellicent. We're back here again. This is going to happen a lot throughout the rest of this match, so don't worry about that. And AJ is going to make the safe play into the Scizor, as his opponent just goes to the U-turn, and he brings in Jirachi. Now this is definitely expecting this thing to have Fire Punch, but AJ is going to call his bluff and stay in. Unfortunately though, he does have the Fire Punch, so Scizor will go down. And now AJ is free to bring in Heatran, and pretty much every time Heatran comes in, this he will get a kill, just because that Tyranitar was the only thing that could really come in on Fire Blast, and that Keldeo isn't too healthy at this point in the battle. He does miss the first one again, doesn't really matter, just because yeah, Heatran outspeeds defensive Xatu, and that Xatu will go down. So now he's up 5-4, and it's still a very good position for AJ to be, and now his opponent's going to make a double switch into Jirachi, predicting his Jellicent switching, which, I mean, it was a questionable play just because that Scarf Jirachi can't really touch Jellicent, so he's pretty much forced to go for the trick here, and AJ probably knows this and just goes into Breloom just to take the Scarf, I guess. I mean, he could have gone to Lati, but that didn't really solve anything because he would still get to U-turn out on that Latios. So now that Jirachi's going to be fast and just going to U-turn out the Celebi, predicting AJ to go straight for the Spore, as he does, and that Celebi will be asleep until he does switch out, just because of natural cure, as you probably know. And now it's a bit of mind games here, as AJ is going to stay in and Spore again, predicting his opponent to go to Landorus, predicting his Heatran switching. That does indeed work out very nicely for him, as that Landorus will be put to sleep now, so go to bed. And the Jellicent's going to come in on the Landorus just because he will be able to threaten this thing out with a Scald, and unless he wants to stay in and try to wake up, then yeah, he's going to go right into Celebi. Unfortunately though, he does wake up and goes for the U-turn. I see no life or recoil, so that's suspecting me that I think it's either Expert Belt or Choice Scarf. As the Celebi comes in, AJ fires off a Will-O-Wisp, it gets burned, but again not going to matter, as his opponent's going to make a good play and just go straight for the U-turn, as AJ brings in Scizor. Breloom, my bad. And yeah, now Jirachi does indeed come in again, and AJ's going to suspect that he will go for the U-turn. Unfortunately though, he just stays in and goes for the Iron Head and does in fact flinch. So AJ will die off to an Iron Head next turn, so he does indeed have to switch out as his opponent predicts that nicely, goes for the U-turn, Jellicent takes that on very well, and Celebi just comes back in. So here we are again, and I'm pretty sure this turn AJ is going to stay in predicting the U-turn and just fire off a Recover or a Will-O-Wisp, as indeed he does. And that Jirachi is going to be crippled now, which is a really big thing for AJ, just because those U-turns are going to be doing absolutely nothing now on anything on his team. As now AJ is going to predict the Trick again, and that's a very nice play on his part, so he will get the Toxic Orb back, his opponent will get the Scarf. I'm not really sure if he wanted the Scarf, just because when it's burned you probably want to be able to change up moves more, I guess. As now AJ is going to just go into Latios just because he can fire off a super powerful move no matter what, and that U-turn's doing nothing. The way he brought this Landorus in made me definitely think he was Choice Scarf, but unfortunately for him, AJ's Latios is Choice Scarf too, so that Landorus will go down to a Draco Meteor. And now this Celebi is going to come back in, and this Celebi is going to be eating hits up all game. AJ's going to go into Tyranitar, maybe trying to get off a last ditch pursuit or a crunch, but AJ's opponent just goes straight for the U-turn and goes right into Keldeo. At least his opponent will not get any momentum though, just because AJ is free to bring in this Jellicent for free. And he's pretty much forced to switch out as AJ gets off a free Recover and Celebi comes in again. So we're back here again, and I'm pretty sure this turn, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's going to stay in predicting the U-turn again, and don't correct me because I'm right, and he's going to U-turn right back out into Jirachi, and AJ probably should have gone for the Scold here just because he was not bringing in Keldeo, just because, really can't touch a Jellicent unless that's an Empowered Ghost, which isn't that common at all. So Jirachi just takes a bit more burn damage, and AJ's going to go into his Scissor predicting, Latios, sorry, the names are just wrecked on this PO battle replay bug thing, and AJ just gets the trick predicts the trick correctly and just switches Scarfs, which again means nothing, and now he's free to fire off a Surf. That Celebi will come in, takes the Surf like a champ, only 11%. And now AJ is pretty much forced into his Heat Train or Breloom, as he does indeed just opt for the Breloom. I'm pretty sure his opponent predicted the... he must have predicted the Brelooms, because nothing else really got hit by hidden Power Fire. Just because he has Latios, Heatran, and Jellicent left. So now he's just going to outspeed the Breloom, go for the U-turn, and that's going to die. So now AJ is free to bring in Latios. If he brought in he's free to bring in Latios and just fire off a Draco Meteor. And after the burn damage, that Jirachi is only going to be at about 2%. So it's pretty much useless at this point. And now AJ is just going to stay in, thinking he will just be able to kill off that Jirachi. But unfortunately, his opponent makes a good play and just goes into Celebi just so he can get off a free Recover. I'm pretty sure that's just what he's going to do, just because he's starting to get decently low. But he actually makes a good play, just goes right for the U-turn, trying to get Keldeo in, I guess. At this point, his opponent pretty much doesn't really have a way to win, just because, as you saw, he has to bring Keldeo in on Jellicent, and his Celebi actually has no way to beat the Heatran. So, as soon as AJ gets Heatran in on the Celebi or Jirachi, something will die. As AJ's going to stay in and Scold, his opponent makes a double and goes back into Celebi, and the Scold does actually burn this time, so his opponent will be forced to recover. If AJ went to Heatran there, it was over, but instead he's going to take the long way around and just go right into his Latios and fight for Draco, as his opponent's probably going to go into Jirachi just to sack it, as I suspected he does. The Jirachi is, it's only at 2%, so of course it's going to go down. He gets -2 special attack, and now the Celebi will come in if I'm not mistaken, and there it is, the Celebi is inside. And AJ's just going to go into Heatran, as his opponent predicts that nicely, goes for the U-turn, and now he's pretty much, he's forced into the Keldeo, and if AJ just went into the Latios here, it was pretty much over, just because, he could just sack it. But his opponent, again, just will not give up and just goes for a double switch, predicting the Jellicent, making this battle just a little bit longer. And the Jellicent is inside on the Heatran, which, that's not really what AJ wants at all, and AJ's going to stay in predicting the U-turn very nicely again for about the third time in this battle and go for the Will-O-Wisp. Unfortunately he misses, so his battle is going to drag on for another couple more turns just because of that, as I'm pretty sure his opponent's... his opponent makes a nice play here and actually predicts him to go into Heatran, but AJ really doesn't need to do anything stupid at this point in the battle, just because it is his. As that Keldeo is going to die to sand, and now this Celebi is forced back in. It's his last mon, so he pretty much has no way to win. AJ probably could have just gone into Heatran. I guess he didn't want to risk the Earth Power, even though he has seen all of his moveset, which was Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire, Recover, and U-turn. But it really doesn't matter at this point, as his opponent He's just going to go for a Giga Drain. That Jealous is going to be taken down to about 20%, and that Giga Drain isn't really doing too much at all, considering it's a super effective stab. I guess they are both special walls though, as AJ's just going to fire off a Will-O-Wisp just to get the burn, because why not? And his opponent's going to finish him off with a Giga Drain, and now Heatran will be free. This, I guess that's pretty much the only way he can't even lose at this point, as his opponent just goes to recover, just to make that battle one turn longer, and then he forfeits, if I'm not mistaken. He forfeits last turn. So yeah, that was a very good game, a lot of mind games during this battle. And yeah, if you like this video, then like, comment, subscribe to AJ. I guess you can subscribe to me too. And later,